Welcome in, guys. It is Brad with College SportsCast. We are here to do episode 2 of our new Wildcat Weekly show, and we got a special guest.
Thank you for tuning in to College Sportscast. College Sportscast presents Wildcat Weekly.
What's up, guys? It's Brad with College SportsCast. This is Wildcat Weekly. I've got John Hammonds on here with me. What's up, Hammonds?
How you doing, man?
And I've got a very special guest with us tonight. I have got Alan Cutler. What's up, Alan?
Hanging, waiting on you.
Yeah. We tried to work out some mic issues right at the beginning here. All right, guys. So I'm going to introduce, if you don't know, if you're a Kentucky fan and you don't know Alan Cutler, shame on you is all I got to say. But Alan Cutler has a radio show, ESPN Radio in Lexington. I think I got the call numbers right there. I believe 1300 on the AM and 92.3 on FM. Is that right?
92.5 on FM. But the beauty of radio, guys, as you know, is that, we have people in all over the country listening because you can listen. All you have to do is download the ESPN Sports Lexington app and it's live anywhere. I've had Africa, Europe, all kinds of places. People can listen loud and clear, by the way. It's just, the way the world is. The radio station is the area where, as you know, the station goes. But now, because of online and podcasts, people listening all over. So my audience is actually bigger outside our area because, we got folks in Nashville and Cincinnati, Indianapolis, and all kinds of places consistently listening to the show. So I'm very lucky.
That's awesome. I know the radio stuff has completely changed over the last 5, 6, 8 years. And Alan has a great show. It's called No Filter. They do a sports talk. He covers Kentucky. It's from noon to 2 Eastern time on ESPN Radio. That's the call numbers. But like he said, you can download his from his page, Alan Cutler, and check him out. He does a great job. So, John, we are here with the Alan Cutler. Alan's a fun guy. I just saw him on Saturday night at the Kentucky football game. So, I want to ask you, Alan, starting with, what did you think about Saturday night in the football game?
I was disappointed. Don't tell Brian Kelly; he'll yell at me for being negative. I don't know if you saw that soundbite by the coach.
I did.
He's a very interesting guy. He was actually, did a lot of politics and those kinds of things before he got into coaching. He's a very fascinating man. I was very disappointed in the defense, even though I liked the line. They got problems in the secondary. Ole Miss. I didn't realize it was over 100. I think Brad White said it was 107 yards after catch in the first half alone. And they kept on doing the same thing. They would catch the pass, the little hitch, and go to the outside. And two things bothered me. One, they couldn't get him on the inside. And two, Ole Miss's athletes were faster than Kentucky's athletes. And the secondary was supposed to be a strength. But because of injuries, they had to go deep down, and some of the guys who are second and third team, like a lot of programs, they're not as good. So that's a bit of an issue, and I'm concerned about it. The only thing that really bothered me, I get Eastern Michigan's quarterback started 5 games at Michigan State. That's great, but he should not have been able to do what he did against Kentucky. Let's put it this way: the defense plays the way it did. Let's say it was Georgia, Kentucky'd have to score 60 points to win. That's the truth. But every game's a chapter, so things change.
And and I know 60 points is not going to happen.
No, but I think the offense is going to be much better from here on out. I really do, because the offensive line is tons better. And before the season started, I said they had 4 running backs. Now with Wilcox gone temporarily or for whatever, I'm not making a comment on him. With him gone, they have 3. And I said this before the season. So if you look at it, Stoops' strength is a running coach. and he brought in two studs. And I said this before the season started. Both those guys, Dowdell and McGowan, are going to be in NFL camps. Will they be drafted? I don't know. How's the rest of the season going to go? They'll be in NFL camps. I don't question that for a second. And matter of fact, I was sitting with mutual friend, Dr. John Wong, who did my book with me, co-authoring Cut to the Chase. And at the half, I said, they better play Patterson because he's not going to stay. And Patterson was terrific. He had 80 yards, and he worked his tail off, and he was humble about it and didn't jump and leave ship when two guys came in. He just worked and worked and worked. And he's got some shakeability and some quickness now. And so you need a lot of runners, and he should touch the ball as the number 3 back, or 2 if Dowdell isn't healthy for Carolina, and they said he should be. We'll see. He should touch the ball at least 6, 8 times a game because it's a long season, as both of you guys know. The pounding is ferocious, and if you want to keep the kid, you're going to have to give him the ball. Plus, he can help you.
Absolutely. And the running game looks pretty strong, to be honest with you, so far.
I'm curious to see what they do against the South Carolina. You can say it's a different level. It is, but let's see what they do. With all the heat that Stoops takes, and a lot of it's very well deserved. I don't shill for anybody, but give him some credit. What he and Walford did on that offensive line is simply remarkable. It really is. And 2 studly running backs, and they
Yep.
got plenty of tight ends. And one of the things I said on my show today, I don't know about you guys, I had no idea that Eric Caddis was an NFL prospect. I didn't. The catch he made falling out of bounds, I don't know if there are more than 5 tight ends in the National Football League today that could make that catch and keep their feet in bounds. And the other one where he went up high to get it,
Yeah.
and for some reason, I've been very lucky. Things slowed down for me during the play very often. Very lucky that way. And so when Cutter threw that ball up high, I liked it. And there were 2 guys around him, which I also like because that's what he's going to see against South Carolina. Better
I
athletes,
thought,
but there are 2 guys around him. And
I thought,
I went, I don't know if he can go up and get it. And he
yeah,
did. And that was
I
really
thought
impressive.
Caddis had another one that was taken off the board that there should have been a review.
Yeah, he was disappointed that it should have been a review. I thought it was good. I would like to have seen a review. That was disappointing, and there's no question about it. But here's the problem. His dad played for the Bengals, and his dad
Yeah.
was a really good guard. They could use him. The Bengals could use him. They didn't spend money on the offensive line. They spent money on Higgins, really good player. You only have so much money in the cap. It was a dumb move. I said it at the time. They shouldn't have signed him. They should have signed another offensive lineman. And the Bengals were just dumb. Why? They have enough other wide receivers after Chase that you put that money into the offensive line. And now Burrow, who knows if he's going to play this year? I don't know. They don't know.
Right. John, do you have a question for Alvin?
I just wanted to ask a question, about your career. When you first started, what got you wanting to be where you are today?
Ooh, you mean as a kid? When did I start thinking
As
about
a
it?
kid, yeah. When did you start thinking about it?
About 5 years old. Seriously. I used to go to sleep with about the only thing I remember my dad buying me was this really cheap GE transistor radio that was $4.95. You could buy something for $4.95, guys. It's 40 years before you guys were born. And I would listen to Yankee games and Met games, and occasionally I could get KMOX in St. Louis from New York because it's a 50,000 watt. Occasionally, I could get Boston. I often was able to get Philadelphia, and I would just listen to games all the time, and I loved it. And I would sneak it underneath my pillow, and I said, I want to be involved with sports. I've always known this is what I wanted to do. I wanted to do radio play-by-play. I never thought about getting into TV. That happened by accident.
Right.
Yep.
And what's some of your favorite memories covering Kentucky? Because you've been doing this a long time.
Well, you have to start with the national championships. There's no question about that. But I got to tell you, and some people bristle at me, the game that to me was more emotional than the national championships I've covered, I'm talking about winning national championships, was the Kentucky Duke game, the year they beat Utah. And I remember walking down, I snuck behind Duke's bench to get a seat. I started doing this a long time ago. It's become popular. You would look and see oh, this person's not here. They left, and try to take their seat. I was about 3 or 4 rows behind the Duke bench. and I could watch Krzyzewski closely. Well, I got a great story for that if you want me to tell you, but this is the part that got emotional. After the game is over, and I'm walking towards my photographer down the right side, and I kind of freaked. There were people in the stands crying.
Absolutely.
Remember, were you guys born when Christian Leitner did his thing, or are you guys too young?
Yeah,
I was a little kid.
I was
Okay.
about eight. I was about 18. I remember it very well. Me and my dad was watching it. We thought it was over when Sean Woods hit the shot. We was jumping up and down. I remember it very well.
Well, then, I'm using this word on purpose, the hangover Kentucky fans had for Duke.
Oh yeah,
Okay. And
absolutely.
and I'm walking down towards my camera guy, and I'm looking in the stands, and there were a lot of people crying. I mean, seriously. And
100%.
it was like,
Oh,
wow.
I can remember just being devastated with Leitner's shot. To be quite honest with you, it was devastating, really, because we all.
My late grandfather, Alan, he told me a story about this particular game, Duke in Kentucky, and he said that when Leitner hit the shot, he come out of his trailer and walked around his trailer about 20 times because he did not know what exactly happened. He was like he was in shock. Like he did not know, like his mind was thinking, "Oh, we finally got a game that we win." And they throw that pass and you throw that and they hit the shot. It was
I
like
still say,
total numbness.
in today's game, I'm not sure that shot counts.
No, it
Just
would have
saying,
counted. No, it'd have counted, but
replay.
I always blame Patino for that. It was Patino's fault because he was afraid. You can't coach afraid. He made two mistakes.
Yeah,
One, he was afraid to put Andre Riddick on the ball. Now,
yeah,
remember, Andre wasn't just 6'9". He was 6'9" with arms long like crazy. And Hill would have had to adjust before
yeah,
throwing the ball. Now, it's
yeah.
possible he could have thrown the same ball. There's no way. But he was afraid that Andre was going to foul. And if he would have screamed at Andre, which he liked to do, and screamed at him about not fouling and not stepping over the line, Andre would have been a little timid, but his arms and shifting his feet, because he was pretty quick laterally. I mean,
Yeah.
there's no way that pass would have gone through. The second thing is
Got to
when they
front him.
broke. Well, that I'm good for that too, but that
You
to me
got to
is the
front
third.
him, man.
Well,
You got to front him, front and
well,
back.
that's the third thing. That's the third thing. Okay. The second thing is when they left the huddle, Patino screamed that the players don't foul. So they made the kids timid.
Yeah,
They made him
yeah,
timid. Okay. The third thing was you got to front him.
yes,
Front him and just go straight up. But very
yep.
often, how many times have you seen it? A guy goes straight up, the guy leans into, and they call a foul. Yeah, you have to make Leitner just slightly adjust, and that
Yep.
slightly adjust would have been the difference between making or not. But I've always blamed Patino on that 1,000%. You put Riddick on the ball. You don't scream at the kids, don't foul the way he did because that was their impression, and then you do front the guy. Sorry for me, not you, but for me, fronting is
Third. All
yep.
right. I mean, but you can't be standing there just watching him like this right here is the same time.
Because you were afraid because the coach told you don't foul.
That's
Let me
all.
tell you something. Let me
I
tell you
got
something.
another question real quick. Go ahead. Go
John,
ahead,
give me
Alan.
1 second. Ask your partners. If Patino yelled at you, do you think you would have done anything differently? Come on, cut it out.
No, I'm not saying I would have, but I was 18 at the time. I was one of those kids. So no, I probably wouldn't have.
You wouldn't have. Neither would I, by the way. I don't know about John, but I would not. Go ahead, John. I'm sorry.
I was just going to say, I know you covered Jamal Mashburn. That's my favorite player of all time. What was it like covering him in the 90s?
The first interview I did with Mash, he talked about being a businessman. How about that?
And he is a good one.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
First interview when he showed up, I got him on the side when you could do that then, not now. And his mom was an accountant. Every time she showed up in town, very well dressed. Talked to her not a ton, but a few times. Very lovely lady. You know, his dad was ranked in the top 10 in the heavyweight division of boxing. I don't know if you knew that or not.
I did. I did.
Uh,
Yeah.
and he talked about wanting to be a businessman, which I
Yep.
thought fast. He's the only ball player I've ever interviewed where the first interview, where it wasn't the first thing out of his mouth. You know, what do you want to do when you grow up? And da 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 da. NBA. He says, "Well, I want to play pro ball, but I want to be a businessman." I went,
Yep.
"Whoa, very impressive."
All right, so let's go back to the game on Saturday before you leave here, real quick. I just want to ask you, going forward. I mean, we got South Carolina. Do you think Cutter Boley's going to be the guy?
Yeah. Look, I said this on my show today. Stoops did the right thing by not saying Cutter Boley's the starter after the game.
Yep.
I'd actually been mad and I would have ripped him. You want to know why? How would you like to be Zach and you find out that your coach just said on the post-game interview that you lost your job? That
Right. Yeah.
sucks.
Yeah. That would.
Okay. And how would you like to do that? I'm assuming there was no time for him to have a conversation with Bush. Okay. You got to talk to Bush. You got to talk to Zach. You got to talk to Cutter. You can't do it. He actually did the right thing. Now, I
Yeah.
got to tell you, if the South Carolina game was here, okay, and they start Zach, you know what happens? They boo like crazy, and they would be booing Stoops more than Zach. I said today it's 100-1 that Cutter starts. It's 100-1. It
Yeah. And
really is.
I
Well,
feel the same. I'm pretty sure he will, but I just wanted to ask you.
and I think too, Alan, Cutter gives you more of a opportunity to throw the ball down the field a little bit more. He can use his legs a little bit. The thing that worries me about Calzada, and you can kind of bounce off this real quick before you leave, I think he holds the ball too long.
He was holding the
don't-
ball too much.
He don't get it out quick enough, and Cutter is the other opposite. He likes to throw the ball a little bit quicker. That's what I've noticed between him and Calzada a little bit.
You know, it's surprising. I have a theory I used on my show last week. You got a kid, and I learned this in the 1980s, and I had Gene Abel on. Gene does my show all the time. Very respected, retired, longtime sports editor, Lexington Herald leader. And we both saw this in the 80s. And when I threw it at him, he smiled and agreed. I've seen basketball players going back to the 80s. You become a senior. You've improved and improved. Now you're thinking about pro ball, NBA, drafted. There might be people whispering in your ear. Not that I suggest anything was illegally done or anything like that. No, I wouldn't do that. And so you feel a different pressure. You do. It's
Yeah.
just human nature. And I honestly believe, I don't talk to Zach. I don't go down doing interviews. Everything that's out there I see, I chop up, that kind of stuff, but I'm not going to go down do interviews. He looks like a guy that's feeling the pressure. And you say, well, he's played for 8,000 years. I'm sorry. He's going to be 25 years old. He's played 8,000 years of college football. He's old for a prospect, and he has to be spectacular. And I think internally that has affected him, so he has not let it rip. I actually think he's much worse than I thought he would be, and I think he could be a much better quarterback, but there's no time to show it.
I agree 100%. Before you leave, real quick, what do you think about Big Blue Madness being on a Saturday? Is it a big deal or no?
No. What's wrong
I
with
just-
you people?
I mean, it's online. People been saying, I don't think it's a big deal at all. I think it's nothing.
First of all, they were smart putting it on an open week. Second of all,
Yes, 100%. I agree.
I don't know about you, but I'd put it Kroger Field.
Yeah, that would be great.
Put it on
That would
Kroger
be
Field.
great.
Promote the heck out of it. Make it, you're talking about want to make this stuff an event and do this and that and the other. I'd bring in musicians and bands and this and that and the other. I would make that into the greatest show for
Yeah,
preseason. And
I agree.
what a recruiting tool. Now, do I think
Yeah.
80,000 people show up? No. No. Do I think it'd tear up the field? Yes. Yes. Guess what? Live with it. Live with it.
It's
Because if it
also
tears up,
it's also in a bye week, so they would have some time to
not
repair
enough
it.
time. No, you are not going to put sod down. How many times do you see, well, we just refilled to the infield, and guess what? They're
Yeah,
slipping like crazy.
yeah,
So,
that's true.
but the truth is, whoever, everybody has to deal with it both ways. They get too fancy. Well, we're going to resod it. Well, how many times can you resod something in 5 days it takes? It doesn't. So you live with potholes for the greater good. I wonder if the only reason they're not doing this is to take care of UK football. And I'm not being disrespectful to UK football. I'm not giving this stuff. It's a basketball school football. No, stop it. For the greater good of the program, that thing should be at Kroger Field.
It would
And they
be
have enough time to
spectacular.
do it. Oh, come on. Think about it. Every word out of Cal's mouth when he was here was about recruiting.
Yeah.
You know, when he did this thing about it's the greatest day in the history of Kentucky basketball because of 5 recruits, he was recruiting.
Yeah.
Everybody took it the wrong way.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's recruiting the next 17-year-old. Greatest day. Well, guess what? You're 17-year-old. I want to be part of it. A lot of the old timers who follow basketball took that totally the wrong way. I instantly knew what he was doing for the sake of the program and because he's a salesman. That's what he's doing. No, this should be Kroger Field. Put it down. They could do it. They're really good at doing stuff quickly. This could be the greatest preseason show in the history of college basketball. This opportunity is right in front of them. And
Yep. I agree
I
with you,
always
man.
said-
100%.
I've told Brad that you've been always my favorite reporter ever since going back to the early 90s. I mean, you had the Billy Clyde incident, which I thought was awesome. I mean, a lot of people probably didn't think that was awesome, but I thought it was that you actually, tried to get the coach. Like, I mean, that's,
you want to know the truth? I didn't think it was a big deal when I did it.
I didn't either.
I was just trying to get the story, and this
Yeah.
thing blew up, and I was really surprised. I don't know if you read my book, Cut to the Chase, but they wanted to fire me over that.
Yeah. Yeah. I know you took some heat over it for sure. I remember
I
a
enjoyed
lot
it.
of heat. A lot of heat.
You had a fan. You had a fan out here that enjoyed it, though.
Well, thank you. But I didn't do it for that reason either. I mean, you just go after the story. It really
Yeah.
wasn't a big deal. I wasn't seeking all this stuff. And I got to tell you, I had over 1,000 emails in like an hour. I've never had anything like that at all. And most of them were really, really nasty. And I regret my boss made me. And I almost told him to go jump in a lake. And I should have. I might have been fired, but I should have because he wanted me to apologize. And I said, apologize for what? I'm doing my job. And we're going up and back. I said, I'm just doing my job. This wasn't for a show. This wasn't
Yeah.
to get all this publicity. So I agreed to write an apology letter. And I still, if I think about it, I still regret it to this day. One of the bigger mistakes because I'm going, no, this is me. This is what I did. It wasn't malicious. I've never done anything malicious. I wouldn't do anything malicious. And I never forget, I want to see it before you send it. And then he told me, you're in trouble. And I wait a second, I've been here for decades and decades. I'm in trouble. We had a new general manager, and he was trying to be tough.
Right.
And he was like, oh, we're getting all this hate mail. We can't have this for a sports guy. Blah 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 blah. It was absolutely ridiculous. And so I sent this out, and the overwhelming majority of people that responded, and tons did, apologized to me because they weren't mad at me. They were embarrassed for Kentucky basketball. That's what
Yeah.
it was, and I was just a conduit. And,
Right.
and as I'm getting all this hate mail, I really didn't. Maybe this is naive, but I really didn't think that. Were there some people mad at me? Of course, but I didn't think it was that many people mad at me because they were embarrassed that Billy Gillespie was the coach, and Billy Gillespie was fired, and this was an embarrassing day for UK. And I was the person involved in this mess that I wasn't trying to be involved with. I'll go on more. Where the hell were the other reporters? Why did they stop going after Billy G? Really?
I don't know.
Really?
Honestly. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. I agree
Just
with
saying.
you. You were just doing your job, man. That's
all it was.
Yeah.
And that's what makes you, Alan. And that's why I like you so much. I listened to you on the No Filter. I heard the Lonnie Rowe interview that you had with him about his daughter. You do an absolutely wonderful job. And
Well, thank you. Appreciate you listening.
I applaud you for that.
I don't know where you guys live. What part of Kentucky you guys live in?
I'm near Bowling Green. I'm in Glasgow, Kentucky. If you know where that is.
Yeah, of course I know where Glasgow is. Come on, dude. I've lived here 1.5 my life. Now you can name. I'm sure you can name some small towns that I wouldn't know. I mean,
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm from Barberville, close to Corbin.
Okay.
Yeah.
I know where Barberville is. Sure.
Yep.
Yeah.
Sure. You
Yeah.
make that
So
drive in all the time from Glasgow. Late night games, that's got to suck. Ooh, pardon my
I do.
French.
I got in. This was Central Time. I got in after 2:00 Saturday or Sunday morning, and that's
Because you
Central
stayed for
Time.
post game. You
I
stayed for
did.
post game, right?
I did. Yeah.
I can't drive that late at night anymore. I'm a lot older than you. In the old days, it wouldn't matter. I can't do it no
Right.
more. And if I
Right.
drink coffee, I'd be a zombie till 5:00 in the morning.
Alan, you are an absolute joy. I'd love to have you back sometime on the show. I know we've stayed a little longer than I said, so
It's all good.
I'm going to let you go. Anytime you need a guest that's a nobody for your ESPN radio, hit me up.
No, you're both somebodies. And if you want to do this again, let's say just before the SEC tournament, that
Yeah.
fits with your schedule, give me a shout back. I'd be honored and pleased to do it again. This is fun. You guys are fun.
All right, man.
Thank you so
Alan,
much.
we appreciate you being with us.
Thanks, guys. Have a good night.
You too.
All right. Thank you. All right, guys. That was the legend.
He's
That
an
was the
awesome
legend,
guy, man.
Alan Cutler.
He is an awesome guy. He really is.
He is. This is Wildcat Weekly. We had a special guest on here tonight, Alan Cutler. If you're a Kentucky fan and don't know who Alan Cutler is, shame on you for real.
Shame on you, really badly.
I mean, so I've known him for a year and a half or so covering the women's basketball. He does come to some of the women's basketball games every once in a while. He's not there every time, but he comes to some of the bigger games and stuff. And he is just a joy. He's got some great stories, John. He's told me stories about Adolph Rupp. I mean, he's got some great stories.
You got to think about the career that he's had. He's went through Rick Pitino, Eddie Sutton.
He's a fantastic dude, man. He really is.
I mean, he's went through some legend coaches, Brad. The Joe B. Hall, Bob Knight. I bet you he has a story about it. I bet
he's got some Adolph Rupp stories. Okay. Like from way back, like 71, 72.
That's amazing. Yeah.
Yeah, he's just fantastic to be around, to be honest. He's got some great stories. Go check out his radio show, No Filter Sports Talk with Alan Cutler. It is a great show. It's ESPN radio. So check him out. He does a fantastic job. It's great, honestly, John. It's great to have him back in Lexington and around.
It is. I've always said, I've always loved Alan Cutler. And I know we like to pick at him about his little Kurt tail of going after Billy Clyde, but and that's the thing that, like he even said, he was doing his job. I mean, you would be doing your job.
And listen, guys, he took a lot of heat from that.
He did.
And
he really did.
He kind of disappeared from the scene. It bothered Calipari. Like he kind of disappeared from the scene for a little while. And I'll be honest with you. And if Alan's still watching the show, or if he hears this, it's great to have him back around Lexington and around Kentucky.
He's one of my favorites. I always say there's not many favorites of mine in sports reporting, but I'm going to be honest with you, Brad. Alan Cutler's one of those. Just the way he describes things, his storytelling. Like I told him, I said I listened to him talk to Coach Rowe, Cassidy's daddy. Like the way he comes at you in an interview is just a blessing, and he knows how to talk. He knows how to articulate. He just jumped right out of the gate. And
it is no filter. He does talk like he's blunt, and he tells it like it is. So I mean, like I said, no filter sports talk. It's a no holds barred show, but check him out. But we are going to move on and go.
I will remind you. I don't know if a lot of people know this or not, but next week we have defensive end linebacker Lamont Smith. I think he's just going to come on from 8 to 8:30. I think it's just going to be like a 30-minute segment.
Right.
He played for Kentucky back in the early 90s, played with Tim Couch, was on the Alabama on the team that beat the last team to actually beat Alabama. If most don't know.
It's pretty much the only team that beat Alabama.
The only team that beat Alabama. So he's got something good going there. So and actually, believe it or not,
I mean, maybe the Bear beat them back in the 40s and early 50s. I have to go look.
Remember, Alabama had Sean Alexander on that team that played for the Seattle Seahawks for many, many years. So we'll have him on next week, and we'll get to talk a little bit about him and his career.
All right, John, me and you going to do a little bit of recon here. It was great to actually be at this game Saturday night. I got to give a huge shout out to the University of Kentucky and Susan Lax, Wesley, Evan Crane, and Matt May, Cammie Moore, Tony Neely, Mitch Barnhart. It was great to be there, and it was a really cool experience. Hope to get to do it again. John is on docket for later in the year. I've got another game or two, so we are hopefully in the running here for some home games for the rest of the year. But John, Kentucky does win this game 48-23, and here's what I'll say. Outside of them scoring two late scores under 2 minutes to go before half, and then they scored another touchdown really, really late in slop time in the fourth quarter. That was 17 of their points was late in the half. So I know Alan was talking about the defense and the concerns, but in both instances, a lot of the starters were out.
They were. And two, you got to like what the offense did in this game. Seth McGowan is just – he's an absolute engine. He runs hard. To me, he's probably the vocal point of this offense. Let's be honest. Eastern Michigan struggled to keep him down. He had 3 touchdowns. I think he averaged over 5.5 yards per carry. I think Dante Dowdell got injured late in the game. I think he had a thigh injury. Not sure of his probability for South Carolina, but hopefully he'll get to play some. I thought Jason Patterson played good. That's what Alan was talking about. He showed some promise. You got to play some of these kids that are actually got some talent, and it's sad to me that Jason Patterson is 3rd or 4th on the depth chart. As good as he is, Brad.
Yeah, it's true.
He should be playing a lot more.
And Josh, I was there. Seriously, the last 2 minutes of the first half was not good at all.
It was not. The end of half scenarios.
Yeah.
They had a 3 and out, and I think they gave Eastern Michigan the ball back. They put 3 more points up, and then Kentucky, I think, got a field goal.
I just don't understand why. I don't understand. We got the ball back with like 1 minute and 36 seconds, okay? Mm-hmm. And we literally ran like 20 seconds off the clock in 4 plays.
Well, yeah, you went down. You had a Josh Caddis touchdown, and then
why don't you run the ball and make them, all you have to do is get a first down. They're throwing the ball on 2nd and 3rd down. Like, what are you doing?
I don't know, Brad. Maybe there's some miscommunication issues between Bush Hammond and Mark Stoops. Maybe, they're not getting on the same page.
You were up 28-6. It was 28.
And then you get the touchdown from Caddis, and then Eastern Michigan goes down, scores on a 64-yard touchdown pass, which the guy just got absolutely clipped.
It was a double move.
It was a double move. It was a hit. It was a hit.
He was lost.
And I'm going to be honest with you. I'm going to tell you what I think. and this is just my opinion. I'm biased a little bit, and I can hopefully say that on this show. But I think when they have Ty Bryant out of the lineup in the nickel or whatever they're in, the defense ain't great.
Yeah, I mean that's true.
I'm just going to tell you, you know, the things that I see when Ty Bryant is in there, he's a difference maker when he's in that backfield of that secondary. And then you had like Cutter Boley, which will go to him. I thought he played really, really well. You know, his first start, he was tossed in against Ole Miss last week. I feel like he done some good things against Ole Miss. He made some throws, showed some potential.
He won a 3. He had a 33-yarder, I believe, which was a nice pass.
Yeah.
But it was his first start. I believe his first start at home. He started no, I take that back. Was the Louisville game at home last year?
Yeah, it was the Louisville game. Yeah.
Yeah. He started the Louisville game last year as well.
Which he struggled, but at the same time, you got to remember the kid was just learning to play football.
He was a true freshman
at the college level.
Yeah.
And he was just learning the learning curves. And now that you've got him in his second year, I think he's more polished, more poised.
He was pretty poised in the pocket. Again, we had no sacks. What Alan was talking about, the offensive line does look much improved. I mean, we're about to really find out because the competition level is going to go up, but it does look improved right now. The offensive line does. So no sacks. He was poised in the pocket. He was 12 of 21 for 240 yards, had 2 TDs and no picks. So that was Cutter's night. But to be honest with you, John, there was at least 2 catches that I thought was catches that was not called as completed passes, and there was no review or nothing. I mean, I'm just not sure what the SEC and what the replay booth and all that is doing up there.
To be honest with you, the 2 duos of Caddis and Rodriguez, I think they're the most reliable pass options that we got. You know, they made some big downfield plays. They're a threat. We have begged probably for several years for the tight ends to get, maybe even 5, for the tight ends to get involved, and we're seeing that. I'm going to tell you what really concerns me, Brad, going into SEC play and further down the road with the Tennessees and the Floridas is the wide receivers. There's still some concerns. Now, they had some moments where they made some really good plays, but there's still concern about how good this group can be. You know,
I still like the top end. I like Macklin. I like Kendrick
What I'm
Law.
saying, being consistent is what I'm saying.
I don't think that we put them in. We run no slants. We run hardly no curls. We throw nothing intermediate at all.
It's usually a
long or it's to the sidelines and just
or it's a wide receiver halfback toss.
Yeah, I mean it's just like I'm just not sure that we put these wide receivers in the best. Like, where's the slants in the offense? Every offense that you see has a slant. When is the last time you seen Kentucky football line up and run a slant?
Probably Woodson.
I mean, Will Levis done it with Wan'Dale Robinson. I remember seeing him when he done it.
I'll say this. We got a good kicker.
Yeah.
We got a decent kicker.
Callaway's a good kicker. Jacob Callaway's a good kicker,
man. I'm going to be honest with you. The Eastern Michigan kicker was decent.
He was.
Kessinger.
He was.
He hit some big shots, some long ones too. But overall, Brad, I felt like we did what we had to do. You dominate a team that you need to take care of, and then you kind of go, you're moving on me, which I love this guy, Seth McGowan. I think he's the best player we got that's not named Kendrick Law. I think Kendrick Law is probably our best receiver, and I think our best tight ends are Rodriguez and Caddis, and I think McGowan is our best running back. Now, everybody's going to say, well, Dowdle's good. Don't get me wrong. But I think Seth gives you a different dimension. Dowdle's more of a power, run you over, like type runner. McGowan gives you a little bit of speed and acceleration.
McGowan, what I like about him, man, is his determination with the ball.
Yeah, he runs hard, like he's mad at somebody.
Yeah, he's mad at the world or something. And I got to stand in front of him and listen to him talk. And what's crazy is he talks so soft. You had to like listen in, like you couldn't even hardly hear him, and you're standing, pretty close to him. And he had his head turned and was talking to a guy this way, and you could just barely hear as he speaks, really. So for a guy that seemed to be, quite honestly, soft-spoken, man, he sure runs hard. I can tell you that.
And I think, too, what McGowan does, he kind of takes, if you can fill those holes and the offensive line do their jobs, I think it kind of takes a little pressure off Boley. I've seen some things in the Vanderbilt-South Carolina game with us playing South Carolina in 2 weeks that we can exploit if the offensive line can do their job. Vandy had a big night on the ground running against South Carolina. Now, who's to say that
Dylan Stewart did get thrown out of that game? So
he did.
That hurts.
And to be fair, Vandy has improved. We don't know which Kentucky team you're going to get. We kind of know what we're getting with Vanderbilt. You're getting Diego Pavia. You're getting the defense is really playing really well. Kentucky is just, every once in a while you don't know what team you're going to get on each Saturday. But what I'm saying, Brad, I saw some things that Vanderbilt did that Kentucky can do as well if they go in there with their head on straight. It's a night game. They announced it today. It's a 7:45 on the SEC Network, so we'll have all day to kind of mobilize the troops, so to speak, and get ready for a big night game at William Bryce. And hopefully we go down there and win, because the next week don't get any easier to go to Georgia. You don't want to lose 2 in a row going into the bye week.
So kind of getting back to Seth McGowan here, for me, I think he's the top back that we have. I really liked Patterson coming in. Dowdell kind of had an off night. He did something to his thigh. Didn't really play much the second half, if at all. I'm not sure if he played at all in the second half. Of course, we were ahead quite a bit, so I think that had something to do with it as well. But I think you're going to see. So McGowan, I saw today, John, he is 5th in the SEC in rushing yards through 3 games with 275. And Dowdell's 10th, by the way, in the SEC in rushing yards.
Not bad.
So Kentucky has the 5th and the 10th leading rushers in the SEC on the same team.
And it's not bad for an offense that's not great. I mean, you got a decent running game. The passing game
that always helps. If you can have a running game, you can speed the clock up. You can speed the game up.
But see, here's my concern though, Brad. You're not going to be playing Eastern Michigan coming up. You're going to be playing South Carolina, Georgia, Tennessee. It gets tougher as the season goes. But I think if you look at the offensive line compared to last year, I think there's some chances in there where we could upset some teams. I looked at Florida Saturday night. They don't impress me. South Carolina don't impress me as much. We could possibly beat Louisville. So as long as our offensive line comes, and like you said, the running backs kind of do their thing, I think there's a chance to maybe go to a bowl game.
There is. I want to get to Josh's question here. He's asked it a couple of times. So they haven't really told exactly what's wrong with Calzada. It looks like a shoulder. I'm pretty sure it's a shoulder. They haven't exactly said. Now, I will say this. I was at the game. I was at the post-game press conference. Calzada was dressed, and in the post-game press conference, Stoops indicated that he was dressed as an emergency backup if needed.
Mhm.
Now, I don't know what that means because he also, when he said that, also said, maybe it was late and we just needed him to hand off or a short pass or something. So he's definitely not ready. He wasn't ready this past Saturday. But I believe the indications is that, within 2 or 3 weeks, I would expect Calzada to be healthy. What happens when he's healthy, I'm not exactly sure yet. If Cutter, in which I think he will, if Cutter gets the start against South Carolina, he will at least get 2 weeks before that Georgia game, 2 games,
Kind of
because
rest his shoulder.
which will give Calzada a chance to rest a little bit, his shoulder, and we will see. But I think that's kind of where we're at. We get a bye week, which I am going to move on from this and go to our next one because that's our actual next topic. So we get a bye week, then we get South Carolina on the road and Georgia on the road, and then there is another bye week.
Mm-hmm.
So
I'm not a favor of. I think it should
Yeah.
be late in the year because there's, usually there's a lot of injuries during this time.
Kentucky only plays 2 of the next 4 weeks. But they get another bye week, and then we come back, I believe, John, and play Texas at home.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they've already lost to Ole Miss, and they beat Eastern Michigan. Now they're going to have a week off this week, like you said.
I will say this: Arch Manning is not setting the woods on fire.
He is not. He's not played great.
And,
6 straight SEC teams after this week. 5 of them are in the AP poll. Kentucky now, they'll close out with Vanderbilt on the road and Louisville at home.
And Vanderbilt's ranked 20th this week.
20th.
Yeah.
So the pathway to 5 or 6 wins is going to require Kentucky to upset a couple of teams.
Absolutely, 100%. You got to knock off a Tennessee, a Florida, a Vandy, a South Carolina.
Yeah,
you got to knock off.
Yeah.
You got to knock off a couple of teams and beat Louisville and Tennessee Tech.
So I think Kentucky's schedule was 5th as the toughest. I think Arkansas was first and Florida's was 2nd. But I think Kentucky's was 5th of the rest of the season left of the schedule. So we're going to move on from football, guys. We're going to go to a little bit of volleyball talk. I did get to cover the volleyball girls, the women's team on Saturday as well. I did both. And they played the number 10 team in the country, SMU. And, they won 3-1 against SMU on Saturday. And then they turned around and played Houston on Sunday and swept Houston on Sunday. Eva Hudson's really good for them. Cassie O'Brien,
the freshman.
She was really good in Penn State. I thought she played like a really good veteran in that environment. I think she had 27 assists.
She had 49 assists on Saturday versus SMU.
Yeah, she's really, really good. Now I will say they got swept by Pitt, which was tough. They looked out of sync the whole night. They just never. There's a lot of errors. I want to tell you, Olivia Babcock for Pitt dominated. She absolutely had herself a night, and she was really, really good. I thought Eva Hudson played good, even though they lost. But as a team, I just felt like they couldn't get into a rhythm. They had a lot of bad passes. They didn't get enough digs that cost them in this game. Then they come back and they played SMU.
They didn't play good against Pitt on Wednesday night.
I agree.
They really didn't.
And then they come out and they beat SMU, which I thought was really, really good.
And SMU was undefeated before this weekend.
They was really SMU's a good team.
Yeah,
and I think they even cracked the top Power 10. SMU.
They did. They did. Even after these losses, they cracked the Power 10 today.
They did. Eva Hudson won it for them. She ended it 3-1.
Yeah.
So delay is really, really good.
And then they come out and swept Houston on Sunday. Won that 3-0 on yesterday afternoon. Before we go off of this, got to talk about the volleyball girls on Thursday night. They are at Louisville on Thursday night. This Thursday night, Louisville is, I'm not sure if the polls come out today or tomorrow. Louisville was third. They dropped to fourth. Kentucky got beat. They're probably going to be third again. In that power ranking today, they were listed as third. Kentucky was sixth in the power ranking today by the NCAA women's volleyball. So, I mean, this is going to be a war. Brooklyn DeLay, who is a junior at Kentucky, was the SEC Player of the Year. I heard her talk after the Houston game, post-game, and she said it's an important game that she has never beaten Louisville. She's a junior, and she wants this game. John?
That's a rivalry.
It's a rivalry, right?
Yeah, they're, like I said, they're hosting, Battle of the Bluegrass, as you would say.
Yep.
Over the last, 4 years, U of L has dominated this, winning all 4 meetings since 21. They played in the Yum Center, I think, in 23. That was the record crowd game. That was really big. It's going to be interesting to see where these teams stack up. There's a lot of roots in this program. There's a lot of mutual respect. It's going to be on ESPNU too for those that want to watch.
It is.
These girls are good. Fritz is a really good coach.
They have a great chance to make a Final Four or better. I mean, honestly.
I'm going to tell you, Dan Meskey's a really good coach too for Louisville. He's
a
really good coach.
He is.
They've had Final Fours. They've been to the big dogs, so they know. So we'll
listen. I will give Louisville volleyball their credit they deserve. They have a great program and a great coach. So I mean, this is a great game. Skinner needs to get this one. Like you said, he hasn't won one for a few years against the Cardinals. This is on the road in the Yum Center on Thursday night, so it's a big one.
We got a good enough
TNU.
And the thing is, we got a good enough team to go in there to win.
Yeah, absolutely. If even Hudson and Brooklyn DeLay and Brooke and Molly and if everybody, Asia Thigpen, if they all come to play, Carr, she's 6'6". I saw her up close and personal on Saturday. It's just, John, I don't know if you've been around, like college athletes or whatever, but it's still so shocking sometimes to see these girls that are. I was in front of Camila Cardoso last year. She's 6'7" and probably weighs like 220 pounds for a girl. She's 6'7". Like you're
And another kind of add to this whole rivalry is U of L All-American Maya Tillman is an assistant for the Cats. So there's a lot of Louisville in the Kentucky and Kentucky with Louisville. Like there's a lot to digest here, and hopefully, Kentucky comes out on top on Thursday, and they get a big win in the Yum Center.
Yeah, this is their last big game against ranked team as a non-conference opponent.
And Louisville is 7-1 too. I think they beat Creighton this past week.
Yeah, they did
5-2, or I think. So Big opportunity for the women.
It is.
And we already
It
talked
is.
about the Big Blue Madness with Allen. So
We did. We talked about it. I just want to give the dates. So Big Blue Madness basketball's fixing to start, guys. It's right around the corner, and we know how much basketball is loved and appreciated here in the state of Kentucky. So I just want to kind of give this a little bit of talk. Big Blue Madness is normally on a Friday night. There's some scatterbutt about it being on a Saturday night for the first time. I think it's no big deal. This is a bye week for the football team. Again, in a few weeks here. That's the reason why I think they put it on a Saturday night. It is a bye. If there was a home football game or an away football game, they probably would have done it on a Friday. They wouldn't have done it on a Saturday. But since there's a bye week, I think it's no big deal. Big Blue Madness will be in Rupp Arena, not Kroger Field like Alan was talking about, which would be great,
which
by
would
the
be
way.
great. Yes, it would.
I mean, could you imagine 60, 80,000 crazy Kentucky fans showing up to Big Blue?
I couldn't even imagine, man.
I mean, it would be out of this world. And they have those blue lights and everything lit up at night. It would be, you talk about madness. That would be madness.
Yeah, it would definitely be madness. That's for sure.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I love what they do with the lights and the floor and stuff in Rupp.
And
well,
for those that don't know, Kentucky will have an exhibition game October 24th against Purdue. Then they'll have one against Georgetown October 30th. Leading up to the season opener against Nicholls State. And I think they also play Georgetown.
They do.
Yes, that's the Georgetown.
Yeah.
That's not Georgetown College. That's regular Georgetown.
No, it's Georgetown.
And then the Kentucky women, I think, start out. What is Brad? The date? They play
November 3rd.
It's the 3rd, I believe. Yeah.
Moorhead, maybe. Is it Moorhead they start out with? I can't remember.
I think there's a couple prospects coming this year too. Mark Pope. I think there's Jordan Smith.
Girls have some too, to be honest.
I think Pope has Jordan Smith coming, maybe Ethan Taylor, Josh Irving, I think. So there's a few guys coming to the Big Blue Madness.
I think Kenny Brooks is going to have some for Big Blue Madness as well. He's recruiting some top 20, top 10, top 5 kids on the women's side as well. And if Olivia is there, the number 3 girl in the 2026, if she's there, watch out, because if you compare her, the big girl, with the 2 guards, top 10 guards that he already has, I'm telling you, the women are on the move.
The women play Moorhead State opening game.
Yeah. I thought it was Moorhead.
Yeah.
All right, so both teams will be big part of Big Blue Madness on October the 11th. They have not released the time yet, just the date, but it is on a Saturday night, October the 11th. And like I said, football has a bye week.
We're getting close to colder weather in college basketball.
Absolutely. And then the second thing that was announced was the blue-white game. This is, again, for the second year, will be held at historic Memorial Coliseum. I was there last year for the blue-white game in the new historic Memorial Coliseum. It was fantastic. It was a great time. The girls played and had they played about a half. The girls did. Split it in half, but they only played about a half a game. And then the guys played, the men played, and it was a great event. They're doing the same thing here this year, John. It's at Historic Memorial Coliseum. It will be both the men and the women be a part of this event. It's this one is on a Friday. Again, there is a game on Saturday, the 18th. So this one is a Friday. The October the 17th is the blue-white.
I think it's Texas that weekend.
It is. The Texas game is October the 18th. There is a game on Saturday. They are not competing with that with fans. They want fans to show up to both.
It should be a big weekend, though. You got Texas coming to town. You got the blue-white game, so that'd be a big weekend of Kentucky athletics.
Absolutely. It's going to be super fun. Knock on some wood. Maybe here at College Sportscast, one of us will be a part of it. I'm not real sure. I did throw a little, throw it into somebody's ear about being able to apply on Saturday, and I feel like we are doing a great job. Check out my stories. I did a story on the SMU victory for volleyball on Stadium Rant on yesterday. Also did a great game recap for Kentucky football, and it was released this morning.
Yeah, and I got one coming out probably tomorrow afternoon about Cutter Boley.
Go to Stadium Rant. Check out our articles and everything that we're doing here at College Sportscast.
I'm not sure what I'm going to write. I think I'm more or less going to probably talk about Cutter Boley and his opportunity to start at South Carolina, but I don't know yet right off the bat. So stay tuned because it'll probably be out tomorrow or the next day. What's up, Jonathan?
All right, guys, go to Home Field. Check out some very cool retro Kentucky gear. They have some really cool throwback stuff and logos and mascots and everything. If you like the Power K and the old logo, Wildcat logo and stuff, check them out. They have some really cool stuff. Use our code CSCast. It'll help us out, possibly give you a 15% discount there. So I appreciate that if you guys will do that. Check out the Real Fresh channel and on YouTube, as well as Stadium Rant. They have a lot of different sports shows, including NFL, NBA, wrestling. I mean, check them out. They have a lot of cool stuff there.
We'll be back tomorrow for the Big Fuss show.
This is Wildcat Weekly. And then I want to give a big thanks to Eric Bird, Bird's Eye View, for helping us with Kentucky photos this year. And then at the end here, that's our shows Tuesday and Friday nights. Want to put that up.
I have a big rant for tomorrow night, so be on tune. So
all right, man, tune in.
It rhymes with LA. That's all I can tell you. That's all I can tell you.
I want to give a huge thanks to Alan Cutler for being here tonight with us for the first 25 minutes or so of our show. Give a huge thanks to him. Check out his radio show. You can download the app and listen anytime you want. Go to No Filter Sports Talk with Alan Cutler.
And next week we'll have Lamont Smith on Monday night from 8 to 8:30 to discuss. I talked to him earlier about his career, his opportunity to play against Alabama, and a little bit talk about his new career in life and what he's doing beyond football. So should be fun.
All right. It sounds good. We will see you guys next week for Wildcat Weekly on Monday night. And then tomorrow night, check us out with a Big Fuss.
I got a rant coming.
All right, man. Have a good night, guys.
Have a good one.